In a distant future, the sun is dying and on the verge of becoming a red giant. To save humanity, the unified world government initiates a project to move Earth out of the solar system, taking it to the Alpha Centauri system. Let's head into the future with the summary of the 2019 film The Wandering Earth, an engaging movie that blends science fiction, action, and adventure, where Earth must embark on a 2,500-year journey and face a series of challenges. Are you ready? Showtime! Let's go to the recap. To confront the catastrophe, where in 100 years, Earth will be engulfed by the sun, humanity united like never before, maximizing the chance of survival. They used all resources to build 10,000 propulsion engines on the surface of the Earth, each towering 11,000 meters high, which is the same altitude airplanes fly. In other words, mega constructions. To provide alerts, they constructed a space navigation platform to assist Earth on its journey. Meanwhile, to cope with the worsening conditions on Earth, an underground city was built beneath each propulsion engine, sustaining large populations until Earth reaches its new home. As during the journey, temperatures will plummet to as low as -90 degrees Celsius. Luki's father, the astronaut Liu, explains his mission years before the Earth leaves the solar system. While they gaze at the stars, observing Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system, with 90% hydrogen, alongside his father and grandfather, Mr. Han Xiang. Before departing on his journey, Han receives guardianship of his grandson and a pass for them to enter the underground city without a lottery. Only Han will be responsible for him, as his mother couldn't withstand an illness. 17 years later, with planet Earth out of its orbit, propelled by the engines, Liu Qi is now a young man, getting ready to leave, leaving a message for his grandfather, and heading straight to meet his sister, Duo, who was adopted by Mr. Han during this time and is now at school. Liu Qi uses his expertise to momentarily halt the energy in the area just to take her away. And they proceed to get their thermal suits from a guy who sells illegal stuff down there, as only authorized workers are allowed to go up to the surface. The vendor gets upset when he realizes they don't plan to return from the surface anytime soon. Quickly, the young one uses a spray that releases an inflated ball on top of him and bursts it to escape, blending in with the squad of workers preparing to go to the surface. During the ascent, Liu Qi explains to him how they can communicate while wearing helmets. When they reach the surface, they see the city of Beijing completely devastated by the cold. Both of them are unsure of what to do before opening the door and are surprised by the brutal drop in temperature, which reaches -84 degrees Celsius. When they step out, they are fascinated when they come across the vastness of the engine. They soon head towards one of the trucks, which are gigantic, similar to mining trucks. Liu Qi had already separated the access key from his grandfather, but since it's their first time there, they cause chaos along the way until they stabilize and can see the motor from a distance. They also observe the entire mining structure surrounding the city, which supports the process of burning rocks for the 11,000-meter-high engine. On the space platform, Mr. Liu is already on his last day of work after nearly 15 years, and his entire team congratulates him for his dedication and outstanding performance on the mission. He even receives a strong drink, which is stored in his spacesuit, from his Russian friend. This last day is special, and he prefers to avoid drinking, as he has been eagerly anticipating and even recording in his room's window how close they are getting to the planet Jupiter. But upon taking his post, the artificial intelligence that serves as the onboard computer of the space platform, MOS, detects Jupiter's gravitational field pulling Earth, gradually causing it to deviate from its course, increasing the likelihood of a collision with the planet. On Earth, young Liu and the girl Dandan are caught by the police during an inspection and taken to a temporary prison. 5 hours later, their grandfather learns of the incident and goes to the prison to try to resolve the serious charge of misconduct related to transportation amicably. When he attempts to bribe the police officer, he too gets arrested. While they argue about what happened, there and everywhere on Earth, the gravitational pull of Jupiter is felt, causing damage and earthquakes in all directions, making many structures unable to withstand the pressure. The prison is affected by the earthquake, and they manage to escape, saving themselves. They quickly depart from there, taking a truck, while everything crumbles due to the earthquake. Many cranes collapse during their exit, causing avalanches that hit trucks. Even though they try to swerve to avoid them, they get hit. However, Lucci manages to unlock the truck bed, giving it more traction, and even when they are engulfed in the fog, they quickly escape from the disaster site. All the torque power of the engines fails, leading to the shutdown of 4,000 of them. Soon, the global team in space learns that there are only 37 hours left until the collision. Mr. Liu tries to contact his family and manages to speak with his father. He discovers that his son is with him and that they experienced an earthquake. He quickly arranges for them to be directed to the nearest refuge before entering hibernation in the space station to conserve energy, thus accelerating the global rescue mission, going much further ahead to analyze the problem. As soon as Mr. Han is directed to the refuge, they are stopped by the rescue team, responsible for saving one of the propulsion engines, requesting Mr. Han as the driver to help transport the engine's core on a mission. They follow the path while monitoring the possibility of another earthquake, and they arrive in Shanghai, which is completely frozen. They need to pass through that path to reach the engine. They raise a drone to assess if it's safe to proceed and realize that it's risky, with the possibility of the ice plates collapsing. However, they continue on their path, observing Shanghai, which was once home to millions of people, devastated and frozen during the time when Earth began to migrate elsewhere. Liu, about to enter hibernation, asks the onboard computer about his son's whereabouts and discovers the change in the mission's course to save the engine. Unable to do anything, even after pleading with the mission captain, he decides to take a drastic action as soon as the onboard computer provides coordinates indicating that Earth is experiencing a gravitational spike and will undergo earthquakes, cutting off direct communication with his family. Mr. Liu tries to exit the hibernation cabin, but like everyone else, he is subjected to the sleep gas. Back on Earth, trucks and airplanes passing through Shanghai are affected by the gravitational shift, having to survive earthquakes and rupturing tectonic plates. The truck's windows begin to crack due to the pressure, and they are surrounded by the catastrophe, forcing them to protect themselves in every way, dodging, but they come to a halt when one of the trucks is hit, blocking the passage. There, they need to abandon the truck and try to save the core to reach the engine. Some take shelter inside the inflated safety ball, while the soldiers take care of the core, managing to save it before being hit by the collapsing ice. They assess a building that appears safe to climb, and inside, they set up steel cables so that everyone can climb up, along with the core. The soldiers, with their mechanical exoskeletons, pull everyone up. Due to the weight, the pin holding the pulley breaks, leaving Mr. Han, a soldier, and the core hanging only by the soldiers holding the rope. Because of the circumstances in the area with the tremors, an elevator is unlocked, causing the soldier holding Mr. Han to open the door to a floor to save him, but unable to save himself. After that, Han realizes that he is already at the limit of his oxygen, unable to breathe, needing to remove his helmet. However, due to the cold caused by the opening made by a soldier through machine gun fire and the tremors, Han quickly freezes. Lucci and Duo lose the only person who cared for them for years on Earth, unable to even say goodbye, as the building collapses shortly after the soldiers remove them from there. In the station, Mr. Liu manages to escape from the hibernation module when he unlocks a piece of equipment. Soon, the computer wakes up other agents, and Liu explains the situation to his Russian friend, stating that the platform has moved away from Earth, losing communication. He interprets that the onboard computer MOS has deserted, as they are now abandoning Earth, and the power mode is nothing but a lie, to save those who are on Earth. Liu decides to go to the control module and quickly creates a device capable of unlocking the door. They secure themselves and prepare to open the door. When they do, the Russian cannot hold on due to the pressure and is carried away, but Liu manages to hold on to the safety rope and bring him back. Lucci, his sister, and the guy who escaped from prison with him separate from the soldiers after what happened with Mr. Han. and find another truck that was also on a mission to transport another core but was affected by the earthquake. There, they manage to get the truck running and receive a radio alert from a captain who explains the gravity of the situation in the underground city, which has been invaded by magma, trapping 350,000 people there. The captain concludes that this core is the only hope. The soldiers who were carrying the core by hand to the engine arrive at the site and realize that it has been completely destroyed by magma, and those who lived there are no longer alive due to the magma. A female soldier, seeing that their efforts were in vain, losing lives to save the core, shoots at the core, destroying it. It doesn't take long for Liu Qi in the new truck with the core to reach the soldiers' location, and they quickly set out on a mission to save another engine, located in the Philippines. Meanwhile, Mr. Liu and the Russian try to reach the control module, but along the way, they suffer from the explosion of an intersection, and this causes debris to quickly reach them, leaving them momentarily without safety. However, they manage to hold on. Liu, noticing the rotation of the nearby module, jumps toward it to grab hold. The Russian follows closely. The MOS computer detects their movement and immediately activates thrusters to push them away. Both of them are hit, but the Russian decides in a split second to propel Liu rapidly, allowing him to reach the command module. Liu opens the door with the device he made, enters, and throws a cylinder at the MOS computer. And there, the computer explains to him that what it did was on the orders of the United Nations and not desertion, as they have concluded that the mission to save the Earth has failed. On Earth, the team heading for the engine is getting closer and closer to the location, already being able to see the giant Jupiter in the sky. Along the way, they receive a radio message stating that 90% of the engines have been restarted in France, Japan, the United States, Korea, and Russia, and that only the engine in Indonesia is missing. Soon, when they stop to refuel, they realize that all the other engines have been started, and they can see the flames in the distance. The MOS computer sends a message to everyone on the planet. In 5 hours, the Earth will disintegrate, pulled by the gravitational field, and only the spaceship has a chance to save humanity from extinction. It carries 300,000 stored human embryos, 100 million plant seeds, genetic maps of all animals and plants, digital libraries of all human civilizations, and this will ensure life on a new host planet. When Mr. Liu understands the situation, he asks to speak to his son, but they cannot communicate. Young Liu, after hearing the message that Earth will collide with Jupiter, becomes sad for not being able to say goodbye to his father, having memories of the day when they viewed Jupiter through a telescope, and his father explained that it was made up of 90% hydrogen. Immediately upon remembering this, he has an idea, as the fusion of oxygen with hydrogen produces fuel. With this idea, the onboard engineer Li Yuyi, who was in the truck on a mission before they found them, thinks that the only way to save Earth is to explode Jupiter, and they must complete the mission in 30 minutes. They need to shut down the spaceship's engine to control it, then direct all the energy to a nozzle to generate a beam high enough to reach Jupiter. Next, they need to carry the core to the reaction chamber and restart the engine. The resulting combustion wave will push Jupiter away, moving Earth to safety. The mission is dangerous, but it's the only chance to save Earth. They head towards the engine, and upon arrival, they split into 2 teams, with young Liu and others in charge of attaching the core, while the others are responsible for deactivating and reprogramming the engine. During this time, Duo tries to contact all the teams in the vicinity to assist in the procedure, but due to the gravity of the situation, many are without hope. The team that tries to reprogram the engine for greater power can't adjust it automatically. They have to do everything manually, both engineers and soldiers. Liu Qi exerts a lot of effort to arrive as quickly as possible to connect the core and activate it, succeeding. But there he gets stuck with one of the locks before closing, and to release it, he can only go there to get it done. He jumps holding onto just a rope, while earthquakes cause walls to collapse, injuring many of those trying to save the planet. Liu Qi manages to reach the latch and does his best to try everything to move it. Meanwhile, Duoduo continues to contact anyone she can to help, managing to speak with Mr. Liu on the space station, explaining the situation and the plan to save the planet. Liu, on the other hand, contacts the United Nations to request reinforcements, and although the request for help is denied, he is granted permission for the Earth's population to decide whether to take action or not. Soon, the message is sent to all corners of the planet, causing a great stir among those who haven't seen their families for a long time. They decide to fight for the Earth's survival, in one last attempt to survive. Everyone turns around and heads towards that engine to help complete the plan. Soon, Mr. Liu at the command center manages to gain control of the motor controls, altering their direction and preparing for the impact. His son, Liu Qi, manages to unlock what was blocking the core from closing and is pulled away by the rope just before being crushed, needing to leave the area immediately as the motor will be activated again in 15 minutes. Meanwhile, soldiers from all corners appear to fit the final giant pins, pushing with the brute force of their exoskeletons, successfully completing the operation and activating the motor. Everyone watches and hopes for the great power of the motor to reach Jupiter's lair, but the power is not enough, needing another 5,000 kilometers to reach it. So, in the space station, Liu decides to take a drastic measure, realizing that only by exploding the station's fuel tank in the middle of the Earth's rocket's beam, there's a possibility to save the Earth. But the United Nations does not allow him to do so. So with the bottle of alcohol his friend gave him to drink, he manually disables all the fire extinguishers and throws it on the Moss computer to prevent it from stopping him, causing a fire. Then he separates all the crew members who are in hibernation from the module that will collide and heads for the impact, saying goodbye to his son, while everyone on Earth listens. Astronaut Liu Peiqian gave his life to complete the mission. Soon Jupiter's wave must reach Earth in 7 minutes. Time for everyone on the surface to seek shelter underground. Liu Qi and the others who are far from underground areas do their best to protect themselves. Soon Jupiter's wave must reach Earth in 7 minutes. Time for everyone on the surface to seek shelter underground. Liu Qi and the others who are far from underground areas do their best to protect themselves, but they are hit by the blast from the motor's exit bridge, plummeting from a height equivalent to a mountain, where they manage to hold on to each other and activate the safety bubble, protecting themselves from the fall. But with debris falling all around, Liu Qi tries to save them by pushing the bubble to the side, but they are still hit, gravely injuring Liu Qi and damaging his helmet, managing to survive before losing his strength. Liu Qi and his sister manage to survive, and they, like everyone on Earth, continue on their journey towards the new solar system. Don't forget to support the channel, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment about what you thought of the movie, or continue here by choosing one of the videos on the screen. Until next time.